Alright guys, welcome back. Still the session with the Better One of Sport. For those of you who don't know me, or for those of you who must have forgotten, my name is Emmanuel Sebastian. I love doing this. I mean, not, one thing I hate doing whenever it's time to be on the microphone, especially with the Elevator on the Sports. It's something that's been coming from way back, so it's not new. So for those of you who's been with us from the very onset, right from the studios in Aja, from the dining room to to the studios, and now to where we are at the moment. So it's been a beautiful ride. So we're here back again to give you the very best of the talking points as far as football is concerned across the globe. Now let's start with the big one. Over the weekend, we saw the Manchester derby this weekend. It was another whitewashing of Ruben Amorim by Pep Guardiola. Now the big question after that game was Ruben Amorim. When is he going to realize that his philosophy is not working? Now he's always defiant in pressers, be it pre-match, post-match, that he's not going to change. He's going to stick to his guns. He's going to continue his philosophy. If push comes to shove, after this game against Manchester City this weekend, he said he's not going to change. The only thing that will change is if you want to change the man, in his own words. So that's him like saying, he's not scared of losing his job as far as he doesn't change his philosophy. So I know you might want to admire people like that who have a belief. I don't. Okay. Well, to me, I like people who, have a belief and they want to stick to it till the very end. Maybe not on the footballing ground, but
there are two different things.
Okay.
In life, I like people who have their belief and stand by it. Exactly. That's the kind of guy that I am, right?
That's why I say maybe not in this aspect as well. But in overall, Ruben Amorim, where do you think the problem is? Is it the philosophy? Is it the manager? Is it the players? Is it the club in general? So what's the solution now for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United?
Since people have started, all of a sudden began to realize that I normally go off point or off question, because I've not started seeing it in the comment section. And I think those people, they don't know me. Because if you know me, you know that my style, again, this is me being stubborn. My style of football analysis is I first take you off the question and relativity.
I must confess, one thing you do is, people tend to, when you answer question, people tend to deviate and they forget to revert back to the initial question. You always come back.
I learned that in school.
Even though it take a while, you always come back to the initial question as well.
Yeah, because again, if I answer the question, it's going to be 2 minutes. This video is not meant to be a short. People should understand creative process, and I need to explain this to a lot of people. Creative process is hard, and if you say this question you ask, the whole sum of this question is under 2 minutes. As a content creator, I'm not creating shorts. Shorts can come. Sometimes we even deliberately don't create shorts so that people like the one jobless boy guy, people who like to build off our content can have something. But let me go off script again and again. For you, those of you who are watching for the very first time, please do where to subscribe. Those of you that have subscribed to this channel and keep helping to push us, thank you very much. Drop a comment, share. Not like I don't listen, but I need to explain something. My style of football analysis is relativity. And one of the things that a lot of you don't also like with my football analysis is that it's too blunt and it's too early. I come in 10 months or sometimes 2 years before the pack. A good few examples of it is when I told people that Nigeria was not going to qualify it would be hard. I didn't even say we're not going to qualify. I say this might be the hardest qualification series we've ever had in our World Cup series. People thought it was a foolish thing. Some say you are playing God. No. I know what I know, and I will put it out. Now, some other people would wait till the qualification is already bad, like where we are now, remaining 2 games, and everybody is forming James Bond, forming Jesse Statnam, Leon Ness. Anybody can analyze Nigerian football now at this stage, our World Cup chances at this stage. But you see, it takes guts to start before the first ball is kicked and come out and give your position. That's not hate, that's not unpatriotism, because I've also come out to predict that we'll qualify with 2 games to spare before, and we did. But that said, let's talk about principles and coaching. What is coaching? All this talk about tactics, formation, arrangement. It is a system that you put in place based on 2 key factors: the kind of players you have, or the quality of players you have, and the opposition you have. When Arteta first started at Arsenal, what he does is he wanted to continue the free-flowing Arsenal entertainment style. Whether we win or we lose, let the fans be entertained.
Yeah.
But he was getting bashed by the big teams, the Liverpools of this world. Even playing Liverpool's song is going to be the first coach in history to convert his own training ground to the home ground of the away team, of the home team, the opposition. But they still got beaten. He now realized that every game should be attacked or be faced based on one, the opposition you have and the players available to you. So there are days where you go out there and you say, I want to play all out attacking because you think that the opposition is going to sit back and they don't have the quality of defenders to do what sit back means, like in the Jose Mourinho style, the Fabio Capello style, two expert executioner of the defensive style. That's why they were able to go 15. You go a full game, winning the season by scoring 36 goals for Fabio Capello and conceding 15 goals. For Jose Mourinho, the same thing. One whole season conceding 15 goals. Now, bottom line is he have the players that can execute that kind of defending, and he have the players that can score on the counter attack. Again, in that same Mourinho setup, there are also other times where they play differently. I've seen Samuel Eto'o play as a left fullback for Jose Mourinho, not an upcoming Samuel Eto'o, an established Samuel Eto'o that have won multiple Pichichi in the La Liga and won the Champions League and won the Olympics, won the African Cup of Nations multiple times, African Footballer of the Year multiple times. But it was I was saying him playing in the fullback position. Now, when you look at that, is setting up his team based on the opposition. If I go gung-ho with Barcelona, they'll win us. Let us defend in such a way that they don't have space in our box. So for Ruben and Amorim to come and say, oh, this is my philosophy. There is no coaching school anywhere where when you finish training, they now give you and say, this is your portion, this is your will. This is the one that they share for you. It is must. No, it's not like that. You have a plethora of styles to choose from a 4-4-2 diamond, 4-4-2 flat, 4-4-2 box, to a 3-4-3, all the formation. You are free to use them for as long as you can psychologically prepare your players to see your vision and run with it. Thierry Henry was king at Arsenal. It was Igwe. He was the best player in the Premier League. He went to Barcelona. He has said it multiple times. They told him, you have not won anything, so shut up. Pep Guardiola told him, don't run into the box. Run very wide, stay on the line, so that Iniesta can run in. It's not my words. Those are his own words expressing to us. Now, you would have said, why would Pep Guardiola do such a thing to a player like Thierry Henry, a whole Thierry Henry? But unfortunately, it happened. If you want to stay in the team, you stay. If you don't want to stay, the same Thierry Henry was cut off by Pep. So it is football. But saying that you have one philosophy and that's where you will stay, if the philosophy is not working, it behoves on you to be smart enough to say, oh, this thing is not working. No. This is what worked for me in Portugal. This is what worked for me when I had XYZ players. The question is, at this Manchester United now, do you have the same type of players like you have in Sporting? At Manchester United, do you have in the Premier League, do you have a league where they defend porously, like everybody play on the offensive like they do in the Premier League? No. So that system obviously cannot work. You are a great swimmer does not mean you should go and jump into the Bermuda Triangle and say you can also use the skill with which you swim in swimming pool or some backwaters in your village to go and swim in the Bermuda Triangle. They're not going to see you bury. You'll just be a story, like you forgot a story. You become a myth, not a real human being. So for him to say that, I'll blame him that way, because we spend too much time blaming Manchester United, the players, the board. But again, the board have tried. Ineos, did what they could do, the best that they could do, by making sure that the swimming pool, some of the things that Cristiano Ronaldo complained in his Piers Morgan interview, were upgraded. You're not going to upgrade the stadium overnight. You're not going to change everything overnight. But at least play football. Manchester United have not won back-to-back in eternity. This is a club who, for God knows how long, between 1992 and 2013, never went below third position in the league. Once third, the rest was first and second, and then all of a sudden they are praying to God now to avoid relegation. Their form is more of a form of a newly promoted team like a Burnley or the current Aston Villa form than the Manchester United. The Premiership was actually defined over the course of 20-30 years by Manchester United. So for that team to be constantly suffering, to go through the kind of things that they're going through, and then you now have a schoolboy coach. This is not Alberto Zaccarani. This is not maybe the Didier Deschamps or some big coach that you will not say, oh, this guy have won everything everywhere. It is the fault of the players. This guy, you're also an upcoming coach. You're just trying to build the career for yourself. So to be that arrogant and say I will not change, whatever they do, they should sack the man. I think going forward, clubs should be bold enough to employ a coach and tell them that, look, your contract is performance based. If you're not performing, we will sack you, but we will not pay you the full length of the contract. Because coaches are not hiding behind this. Whether you like, you employ me. Whether you like, you sack me. I mean, every coach will want to be like Eric Ten Hag, don't you think so? Get a job within the 1 month on the job, you're fired, but you get your full term of the contract. It doesn't make, to me, I think it's robbery, because not every coach is ambitious. Not every coach wants to win everything. That for me is a problem. So Manchester United right now, I thought that they did some good signing. You can't tell me that Matthias Cunha is not a good player. You can't tell me that Mbeumo is not a good player. You can't tell me that Benjamin Sesko, not a great player, Benjamin Sesko, but he's a player that you can fit into your system. Victor Gyökeres have not really settled into the Arsenal team. He doesn't get the ball that much. I'm not bothered about the number of touches he gets, because Haaland doesn't get too many of touches. But it doesn't get involved in the play. You can tell that the midfielders are not reading his run properly, and he's also being careful. I don't want to quick run and then get to offside position. I don't want to, I want to try to impress with the way he came to the team. He's adapting, but in that adaptation, he scored 3 goals. The team is also setting up, trying to get into his style. Same for Eberechi, same for Madueke, just everything. Some injuries are making it happen, some are making their effort. When you look at the Man United team, you say, okay, they signed good player. In Lenny Yoro and Delete, they have very good pair of centre back. In Dogu, what's his name?
Yeah, Patrick
Dogu for me is a good left full back that could play maybe as a wing back or as a left full back or inverted. And then on the right side, they also have a player who can take that. Then they have Amad, they have Dalot.
So why is the philosophy not working so far?
Because in my own thinking, I think that the philosophy considers the coach more than it considers the players. So the philosophy is, I have come here to show you how we do it in Portugal. So it is my style. Because if you look at Jose Mourinho at FC Porto, that's not the style he played when he came to Chelsea. The FC Porto Jose Mourinho team was entertaining, was fabulous, and there were a lot of ball jugglers in that team. When he came to Chelsea, they were more power players. A few ball jugglers, but more power players. So he played to their strength and impose that defensive mentality. You've heard John Terry, talked about what Jose Mourinho would tell him before matches, after matches, even explaining the rules of the game that referees don't know, that 2 defenders going down at the same time cannot be moved out of the field. Those things are the extras you bring in. I don't see that with Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim looks like a child that is throwing tantrum. Like when you take sweet from a child and you know that the child has taken like 2 lollipop, a 3rd one will make them stool, will affect them, and you take their throwing tantrum and say, because they're throwing tantrum, let me give it to them. This whole idea of you don't want the man there and let you sack the man kind of sound arrogant to me. On what are you basing your arrogance? That a club as big as Man United have not won game back to back? Like in the whole Premier League, there is no club of all the top 10 club that have not won at least back to back games. And in over 30 something games, you've not won a game back to back, and then you are saying if you don't, your philosophy is obviously not working. If your philosophy is working and injuries are happening to you, you can back and say, my philosophy is not the problem. The amount of injury I'm having is a reason for you to consider that this is not my problem. It's just the injury. I've not been able to play the same player for 3 or 4 consecutive games. Like what happened with Arsenal last season, what happened with Tottenham Hotspur last season, even the Man United. But to have all these players available to you and still come out to say, I will play my philosophy, I will never change my philosophy. That's being arrogant, very rude, pompous, on the back of nothing won. I understand AVB won the UEFA Cup. Jose Mourinho, before he came and told us it's a special one, he's won the UEFA Cup, won the Champions League with a team that have no business winning those competitions. But what have you won? That you won the Portuguese League? Come on.
The talk is that other managers are given time. Do you think Ruben Amorim have been given enough time? They kept him before the start of the season at some point where people thought, okay, Ineos was going to fire him, but they stuck to him and see what has happened now to the start of the season. So do you think he's overstayed? Did you expect him to have been fired before now? Because when you look at the results, I mean, it's sackable. It's something you could, for a club like Manchester United. So do you think the writing is already on the wall that
smaller clubs, and I like to throw this to our community, the people that are viewing, go to the comment section. Do you think that Ruben Amorim have been given enough time as coach of Manchester United, and based on his result, do you think if you're the manager, the boss over him, do you think you're at a place where you're considering sacking him more than giving him more time to stay? Because there's another question of, if you sack him, who comes in? There are coaches all over the place. The thing is, in my own opinion, I think he's been given enough time. And you keep a coach because the signs of evolution is there. Arteta have been at Arsenal for over 6 years now, if I'm not mistaken, 6 years. In this period, no matter how much you hate Arteta, you cannot deny the fact that the team has evolved. If you say, he spent 1 billion, yes, that's what the market is doing right now. Players that used to be sold for 15 million are now being sold for 100 million. Yeah. It's not his fault that the market has changed. And that's not my business. I'm not the guy who's running the business. What I'm saying is, the Arsenal that we know now, you know that 6, 7, 8, 10 seasons ago, the season does not start with anybody hoping that Arsenal will win the title. The last 3-4 seasons, the expectation for Arsenal is he must win the title. Even the last 12 years of Wenger, nobody expected him to win the title. They are struggling for top 4. Arsenal is not struggling for top 4. Arsenal is struggling to win the title. So you saw the evolution in these 6 years, 8th position twice, 5th position one, and then the other 3 seasons, they've been consistently third. And in that place, they've outscored 18 clubs out of 19 in 2 seasons. And then last season, not too good. The goals they scored and the goals they conceded, but they also won the Golden Glove twice. Their goalkeeper have won the Golden Glove twice. So you could see something that Arsenal have gone from very weak defenders, them Sandros, Joan Giroud, and the rest of them, to the Skilashis of this world, you're even remembering them, to what we have now that is regarded as one of the best defensive unit in the whole of Europe, not just in the Premier League. The midfield, not there yet. Midfield kind of like remind me of the Super Eagles. The front line is beginning to come up. It's still behind a lot of front line, but from the goalkeeper to the defense line and the defensive midfield, now adding Zubimendi, does look like what a team that can win the title looks like. Odegaard, not it for me, but then you look at Eze, you look at Madueke now, you look at Kores, and the supporting cast, you can say, okay, Arteta have done something. Even if you fire Arteta today and you bring somebody else, the expectation for that somebody else is to win the title immediately. You won't say, he has 4 years to rebuild. If you sack Ruben Amorim, you still give the next person another 2-3 seasons to even steady the ship before you would ask him to win. So for me, I think he's been given the materials, and they've all seen too many people come and go that have not done well for me to say, give him time. If he wins 5 games on the bounce, or get 3 wins and a draw, then lose a game and then get another 3 wins, okay, you see there's something there. This team is gelling. Right now, nothing is gelling. So that philosophy that you're so religiously holding on to, what has it done in over 30 games that's making you say this philosophy will work? Because you can't tell me all the players at Manchester United are bad. I agree, Casemiro is slow. That's age. At that age, that's what he does. That's what they didn't fix in the transfer window. The goalkeeper that they used to replace Onana, it doesn't look that bad to me. He comes out when he needs to come out. He deals with crosses when he needs to deal with crosses. Just that's defensive midfield. Maybe if they had fixed it, they had gotten somebody more agile in the N'Golo Kante mood or Gaddafi's mood, where they don't make defensive midfielders like that anymore, or in the Rodri mood, who control the pace of the game, who is the metronome and balances the pace of the rhythm of the game. Maybe there will be no reason to give excuse, but even at that, you can't tell me that the entire squad of Brentford is better than Man United. You can't tell me that a squad like Brighton and Hove that sold all of their quality players, even Brentford that sold their key players, what's the other one again, that sold all their key players, are better than Man United. No, but those teams are able to get consecutive wins. Those teams are able to be threat to other people. The best game they played this season was the game against Arsenal, where they lost, and they say they are FC will try. You can't be that. Now this is the great Manchester United we're talking about. Manchester United used to be the team that everybody's afraid of. When they draw the fixtures, you start counting, when are we playing them? Oh God, this match. Why are they putting Manchester United alongside some other tough teams? That's what you say. But right now everybody's saying, give us Man United quick. I mean, let Man United come and give us. Man United is a promo team now. Yeah. Like, come on.
Let's play them now with them. We'll collect points and stuff like that. Because now this season is a season without European football. So no excuse Amorim not to finish in those Champions League positions.
Exactly.
So it's really a make or break season, and He might not even stay from now to the end and to the weekend where they're going to take on Chelsea, another tough game, which they also need to get resolved. Lose that game, the pressure continues to mount for Ruben Amorim. So, guys, verdicts: should Ruben Amorim stay? Should he be given more time? Because I mean, he's still banking, like you said. He's still banking on that Arsenal game post-match. It was a heated, conversation after the game. You know how the English press has asked their questions.
Now, the funny thing is, when I saw that thing, I was saying to somebody, if Arteta comes out and say this now, people like them, Tashimaka will come out and have opinion. Then Roy Keane will have an opinion. So that's what their coach is saying. That they were the better side in the game that you lost. Arsenal is playing with new set of players and also trying to gel into the team. That try to understand the coaching philosophy, the way this team plays, and they were able to beat you. On the day they didn't play very well. And then you say we were the better side. Which better side you be when you lose? You should take your L and go and sit down. Don't sit in the press and try to disrespect people for the win they get. That was I wasn't happy with Arteta when he said in the PSG game that Arsenal were the better side. I was like, what better side? Is it the same game we watch? Accept that this team were better than you. Sometimes the fact that the team is better than you does not mean your team is bad. Though. They are just better. They are just on another level. 2 seasons ago when Man City won the title over Arsenal, it didn't make Arsenal a bad team. Man City were just on another level. Last season, it wasn't also because Arsenal was bad. The injury brought a certain level of inconsistency that I congratulate Liverpool for their win, but I'm not going to bash Arteta or Arsenal for it. So sometimes coaches should be gracious in defeat and move on. Deceiving yourself, because, it kind of like, Amorim kind of signed like a lot of my countrymen and women. When something goes right, it's God. When something goes wrong, it's the devil. They are never responsible for anything. That's our country. We're never responsible for anything. And in that lie, that's what I'm saying, Amorim. And then I realize it's Portuguese. Portuguese are like Nigerians too. We have a lot in common. Now, but then bring Gary and Cassava and give us more shop. So we behave like the same people.
Well, it's getting heated. It's getting tough for Manchester United and for Manchester United fans all over the world. We have them here amongst us in the studio. So it's been sad times.
What are you trying to say?
It's been sad times for United. But guys, don't forget, tell us what you think in the comments. Should Ruben Amorim continue as Manchester United manager?